From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Don Mitchell. U.S. President Donald Trump welcomed Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to his home in Florida for talks today. Trump is looking to create fresh momentum for a U.S.-brokered Israel-Hamas ceasefire that is in danger of stalling. Speaking to reporters, he insisted Phase 2 of the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas could go very quickly.
There has to be a disarmament, that we have to disarm with Hamas. So one of the things we'll talk about certainly, but there has to be a disarming of Hamas. Otherwise, very quickly. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Trump warned Iran against reconstituting its nuclear program, as Israeli officials have been quoted in local media expressing concern about the country rebuilding its supply of long-range missiles. Members of a Canadian delegation that was denied entry to the West Bank earlier this month are calling on Ottawa to tighten sanctions targeting new Israeli settlements in occupied territory. The representatives seeking a ban on imports of any goods produced in the occupied West Bank. National Council of Canadian Muslims was part of the delegation, and Government Affairs and Public Policy Officer Ahmed Al-Qadi says they have a message for Ottawa.
So our message to Prime Minister Carney is, firstly, we welcome Minister Anand's swift summoning of the Israeli ambassador, but urge Canada to seek a clear, coherent, and fact-based explanation for why Canadian members of Parliament, civil society representatives, and organizations were barred from entry, why false and damaging allegations were made against Canadians, and why Israeli border officials physically assaulted a sitting member of Parliament.
A group that included 6 Canadian MPs on a mission to meet with displaced Palestinians was turned away at the Allenby border crossing in the West Bank on December 16th. A winter storm brought freezing rain, blowing snow, and strong winds across eastern Canada today, and it led to a surge in 911 calls in Montreal.
Urgence Santé says the level of calls is exceptionally high, with most concerning people who have fallen and hurt themselves. Much of southern and western Quebec are under weather alerts for prolonged periods of freezing rain, with ice pellets that can make travel hazardous. The weather has caused headaches for commuters hoping to use the Montreal area light rail network, which has reported service slowdowns and shutdowns. There are some flight delays and cancellations reported at Montreal Trudeau International Airport, and Air Canada is asking customers to check their flight status before leaving home. Brenda Molina Navidad, The Canadian Press.
And Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand says she told her Ukrainian counterpart today that decisions about Ukraine's sovereignty must be made by Kyiv itself. Anand's conversation with Ukraine's Foreign Minister Andrei Sybiha followed Canada's recent commitment of an additional $2.5 billion in economic assistance to the country as it fights Russia's invasion. Yesterday, U.S. President Donald Trump hosted Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at his Mar-a-Lago resort and insisted that Ukraine and Russia are closer than ever to a peace settlement. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, the Ottawa Senators will be without goaltender Linus Ullmark when they host the Columbus Blue Jackets tonight. The team announced yesterday that Ullmark is taking a leave of absence for personal reasons. Other games on the NHL schedule include the Winnipeg Jets hosting the Edmonton Oilers, Calgary is in Boston, and the Vancouver Canucks visit the Seattle Kraken. Canada looks to remain undefeated at the World Junior Hockey Championship when it faces Denmark tonight in Minneapolis. The Canadians are coming off a hard-fought 2-1 overtime victory over Latvia on Saturday. And curler E.J. Harnden says he will retire at the end of the season. The team Matt Dunstone's second is a 3-time national champion. Harnden also won gold at the 2014 Winter Olympics in Sochi, Russia. Harnden says he'll reflect more on his career once the second half of the season is complete.
And I want to go into these events fully focused, lots of excitement and wanting to win, because I want to win a few more times, obviously for myself, but more importantly for my team.
Harden's team is ranked first in Canada. From the Canadian Press, I'm Don Mitchell.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.